Mr. Milewski, you worked at the CBC. I've noticed that whenever there is any positive talk of an India Canada sort of trade deal or any sort of bilateral movement in relationships, I see news reports, or very selective news reports that come out on CBC or the other sort of associated liberal media. They talk about the assassination of Mr. Nijjar, but fail to provide evidence. They talk about information. They said they've received credible information. But have you seen any evidence of the Indian state acting against or going forward with this assassination?
Well, I would say that it's a very good question, which should probably not be litigated in this forum.
Understood.
But I'm retired. They ain't going to fire me, so I will answer your question. I guess the simple way to put it is this: the Khalistanis in Canada have not given up their struggle by any means, and they will continue. Is there evidence that what they say is true? Is there evidence? Well, all I can tell you about that is that I do not believe that the Canadian National Police Force, the fabled Royal Canadian Mounted Police, I do not believe they are corrupt. I do not believe they were following political instructions to pretend that they had this evidence, because they can't. If they tried that, I mean, this thing is going to court. There have been charges laid.
Yes.
This thing will go to court. People will be under oath. It will be public. So there is going to be a public exposition of evidence. The Prime Minister can't call up the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and say, Commissioner, look, this would be very inconvenient for relations with India if you went ahead with this prosecution, so can you stop it, please? Mm-hmm. That conversation will not happen. It's not. If it does, then we're not living in the Canada that I know. So, sorry for the long answer, but if you think, have I seen evidence? I have seen evidence in the form of the Commissioner, the Deputy Commissioner, and their senior officials of the RCMP swear on a stack of Bibles that the Lawrence Bishnoi gang is working for the Indian government, and that criminals operating in Canada under the direction or with the assistance of Indian officials were responsible for the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, I've seen recently, and not so recently, officials of the Indian government, such as the new High Commissioner, saying that, well, where's your evidence? They've asked the same question you just did. I don't blame you for asking it, because in my very long answer, notice I haven't given you any evidence, just evidence that I believe these people when they make the charge. But I think that when it comes to court, you're going to get some nasty surprises, and it's going to take some very fancy footwork, which I can't imagine sitting here today, for the government to sidestep that, or to put it on a sidetrack somewhere, to keep the Indians happy by putting it off stage. Yes. I don't see how that happens in Canada. I don't see how it happens.
So this the way you've put it has been disputed pretty vociferously by the Indian government as well. Yes, you have 4 individuals who are already arrested and they'll go to trial, but is there a direct smoking gun with Indian authorities? Is a question that we still await.
The other answer is yes, I have. And it takes the form of the Indian government's own actions with respect to the same allegations about the same murder plot made by the Americans.
Yes.
Remember, this is one plot with with various targets. So they were plotting to kill an American in New York and a Canadian in Surrey, British Columbia. Mm-hmm. And they succeeded in the latter case. That's the police theory.
Yes.
And at the moment, the Indian government is right where it was at the beginning, saying, well, you have no evidence, but that's what they say to the Canadians. But when the Americans submit the same evidence about the same plot involving the same murderers, the Indian government says, oh, we take this very seriously. We're definitely...
Action was taken as well. I think those were siloed differently, Mr. Milewski. I think they were two different evidences provided. One was an allegation, which is the Canadian side, and evidence was still forthcoming. And the American side gave pointed evidence through, and I guess action was taken over there, and that's still continuing. It's being contested as well.